A very good morning to all the students of class 6. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today from your English book Skyline, we are going to be reading chapter number 8. Tell me how many of you have this habit of complaining about life? Something like, oh my god, my friend has this, I don't. And my friend has so many toys, I don't. My friend has so many clothes, but I have very less clothes, and even the clothes that I have, they're not smart enough for me to wear. A few of us have this habit that we compare our life with someone else, and sometimes we go so deep into that feeling of trying to become like someone else that we lose our true identity, and only just to be a part of the society, just to fit into the society, into a society that into that part of the society which we have just created in our mind. Just to fit into that part of the society, we tend to do anything, we tend to go to any extent. But sometimes trying to become what you are not, or trying to show what you are not, can land you in a big trouble. So let us start reading the story called The Diamond Necklace, about a lady called Matilda who was never happy with her life. She always kept on complaining about her miseries and how poor she is and she cannot be like her other friends. But what is it that she does to show herself as a rich person, and how that puts her into trouble? So let us start reading this chapter. This is chapter number 8, and the title of the chapter is The Diamond Necklace. Let us start reading this chapter. Okay. Matilda Loisel was one of those pretty charming young ladies born as if through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. She had no money, no hopes, no means of becoming known and getting married to a rich man. She allowed herself to marry a pretty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She suffered, for she felt she was born for all the fine, beautiful things of life. She suffered from the poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls, the worn chair, and the faded hangings. So, introduction about Matilda Loisel. This lady called Matilda Loisel is given here. That this lady, though she was very beautiful, very charming, but she always had this complaint. She always kept on begrudging her life. She always kept on complaining about this thing, that oh my god, I'm born in such a poor family, my life is full of miseries, look at my house, it is so poor, look at my life, I am only suffering in my life. So she always kept on complaining about it. She always kept on begrudging about this, that I am not happy in my life. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, whom she did not like to visit because it hurt so much when she returned to her own poor apartment. So, though she had a very close friend, she did not visit her house because she felt ashamed of the fact that she was economically not as sound as her, or financially not sound as her friend. One evening, her husband returned looking excited. In his hand was a large envelope. "Here is something for you," he said. She quickly drew out a printed card. So she took out a card from that envelope. "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madame George request the honor of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company Monday evening, January 18th, at the Minister's residence." So now Mrs. Lozier and her husband, they were invited at the minister's residence on Monday evening. And Monsieur, it's a French word which means Mister. Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation away on the table, murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that?" "But my dear, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out. This is a grand occasion." She looked at him with an irritated eye and said, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a formal party?" He had no thought and stammered, "Why not the dress you wear when we go to the theater? It seems very pretty to me." He fell silent, upset at the sight of his wife's weeping. "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable dress cost? Something simple?" "I cannot tell exactly, but 400 francs ought to cover it," she said. "Very well, I will give you 400 francs." So francs it's the former currency of France. Like you have in India, you have rupee, in US you have dollars. So in France it is francs. So now what happened? Matilda's husband had returned home and he showed the invitation that he got invitation to the minister's residence. So her husband had hoped that Matilda is going to be really happy that wow, we are going at such a grand place. We're going to meet such great and such known people. But Matilda was still not happy. So understand her life condition. She's always unhappy. So she said that what am I supposed to wear on this occasion? So her concern is not going to the minister's house. Her concern right now is that what is it that I'm supposed to wear? And she tells her husband that a new dress is going to cost me 400 francs. And the husband, he readily agreed because he loved his wife Matilda selflessly. The day of the ball approached, and Madame Loisel seemed sad and anxious. Her husband said to her, "What is the matter with you?" And she responded, "I'm upset because I don't have a jewel to adorn myself with." So now, despite the fact that her husband bought her a dress, a new dress, she has another complaint ready. She says, "Now I don't have a matching jewelry. What am I supposed to do now?" Then her husband cried out, "How stupid we are! Go and ask your friend, Madame Frostier, to lend you her jewels." So Madame Frostier is Matilda's friend at whose place Matilda avoids going. The next day, she took herself to her friend's house and related her story of distress, sadness. Okay. Madame Frostier took out a large jewel case, opened it, and said, "Choose, my dear." Among the jewels, she saw a superb necklace set with diamonds. She asked in a hesitating voice, "Could you lend me this?" "Why, yes, certainly." The day of the ball arrived. Madame Loisel was a great success. Was a great success means that she was, for a change, Madame Loisel or Matilda, she was extremely happy because she had a new dress, she had a diamond necklace. So even she could show off herself to be very rich and very elite. She was the prettiest of all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of gaiety. Extremely happy. All the men noticed her, asked her name, and wished to waltz with her. So, waltz is a kind of dance. She danced with enthusiasm, thinking of nothing, floating on a cloud of happiness. She and her husband left the ball at around 4 o'clock. So, at 4 a.m., they left the ball, not 4 p.m., at 4 a.m. Out in the street, they found no carriage and began to look for one. There was one in the distance. It took them as far as their door in the Martyr Street. They went up to their apartment. She stood in front of the glass for the final view of herself in her glory. So sometimes, when we feel we're looking very pretty or we're looking very handsome, we keep on looking at ourselves in the mirror. Even when we return, oh my God, everyone was looking at me. Wow, I'm so pretty. So this is exactly what Matilda was doing. So she wanted to have a final look at her dress and her diamond necklace. So what happened? She suddenly uttered a cry. Her necklace was not around her neck. So the diamond necklace was gone. She turned towards her husband. I no longer have Madame Fostier's necklace. And they looked in the folds of the dress, in the pockets, everywhere, but did not find it. They looked at each other, utterly cast down. So both of them were utterly disappointed. Why? Because they could not find the diamond necklace that they had borrowed from Madame Frostier. It will be necessary, he said, to write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and that you will have it repaired. This will give us time. Clasp means the buckle. So whenever you wear a piece of jewelry around your neck, it has a buckle kind of a thing to tie it. So Mr. Loziel, he tells his wife that you write a letter to your friend saying that the clasp is broken or the buckle is broken. So give me some time, I'll get it repaired and then I will give it to you. So he thought that this is going to give us some time to probably buy another diamond necklace. She wrote as he directed. At the end of a week, they had lost all hope. Lozier declared, "We must take measures to replace this jewel." They went from jeweler to jeweler seeking a necklace like the lost one. In a shop, they found a necklace of diamonds which seemed exactly the one they had borrowed. It was value of 40,000 francs. Loziel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left for him. He borrowed the rest. So Loziel only had 18,000 francs as a saving and 32,000 he took as a loan. When Madame Lozier took the jewel back to Madame Frostier, the latter said in a cold tone, "You should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them." Madame Lozier now knew the horrible life of bare necessity. They had to pay this frightful debt and she would pay it. They sent away the maid, they changed their lodgings. Lodgings means house. So now Matilda and her husband, now they told their maid that you don't have to come to our house. Only to, they were looking for ways in which they could save maximum amount of money, right? So they told their maid to go away and then they also changed their house. She learned the heavy cares of a household, the hateful work of kitchen. She washed the dishes and the soiled linen. That means the clothing. The husband worked evenings and nights. This life lasted 10 years. So it took them 10 years to repay the debt of 32,000 francs. At the end of 10 years, they had repaid all their debts. All their debts. Madame Loziel now seemed old. She had become a downtrodden woman of a poor household. Means very weak and very, not very pleasant to look at. One day she was taking a walk. She suddenly saw Madame Frostier. Should she speak to her? Yes, certainly. Why not? And now that she had paid, she would tell her also. Now Matilda thought that here is my friend Madame Frostier. Now let me tell her the reason why it took me around a week to return your necklace. So she wanted to tell her friend that I had lost your diamond necklace and we had to purchase a new one. That is why. And this is the entire story of my life past 10 years. She approached her. Good morning, Jean. So Mrs. Frostier's first name was Jean. Her friend uttered a cry of astonishment. Oh, my poor Matilda, how have you changed? Yes, I have had some hard days, and all because of you. So she's again complaining. Because of me? How's that? Well, I lost the diamond necklace that you loaned me. I returned home. I returned another to you exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years to pay for it. So now Matilda is telling her friend that in order to repay the loan of the new diamond necklace, 10 years of my life have gone by. Madame Frostier took both her hands as she said, "Oh, my poor Matilda, the diamonds were false. They were not worth more than 500 francs." So, look at the story. Coming to the point from where I started the story, that sometimes just to look like the other person, just to fit in to a group of people, we go to any extent, but sometimes it puts us into an unbearable pain. Sometimes it puts up it makes us land into a big trouble. And another thing that another lesson that you would have learned in this chapter, let's say you've borrowed something from someone, and by mistake you've lost it. Instead of hiding the fact, let that person know, because Matilda did not tell her friend that I've lost the diamond necklace. So what was the result of it? Matilda thought that it was a real diamond necklace, but it was a false diamond necklace. But Matilda and her husband suffered for 10 years. So I just want to tell all of you, first of all, try and be happy with what you have. It is always good to ask for more, but not at the cost of being greedy. There's no point if you're asking something because there's a greed inside you. That prayer will never be answered. And do not complain about your life. Be happy. First, be happy, be thankful with what you have, and only then that thing will multiply in an unlimited manner. Thank you so much.